I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Okay guys, I had to start this build video over. My son kind of, I won't say ruined it, but I had to stop in the middle of it, so it it took too long when I saved the clip, so I lost like half of it. So I'm just gonna try to burn through this because it was kind of annoying. All right, Silence Maul. That's the two-hand I'm running. You're gonna want to run an axe, though, if you have that, but I don't feel like grinding it, but that would be preferable. If you had an axe, Asylums. First set is Werewolf Hide. Every DK of this set, I'm just running as dual wield. You're running a dagger for the extra crit. Axe because you want to proc a bleed. I think charge is, I've used charged a lot. I think charge is better. You're a dot build, so the chance of proccing that bleed is only 8% with one axe, so increase that by 100%. You're looking at 16% chances if you're running two axes, which is really nice. Sharpen, as far as the just on one hand, isn't really going to make that much of a difference DPS wise. I would rather be able to proc the axe bleed more often. Double dot poisons are the best. You can run enchants like poison and shock or poison disease. Those would be the two best. But that's entirely up to you. I just think poisons are all around better. The double dot specifically. Blood spawn. You want to get your ult as quickly as possible. We're also running Werewolf in the jewelry, so I run one reduce stam cost glyph for the most part because our stam pool is kind of low, and then weapon damage on the other two. Next set is Ravager. Awesome 4-piece set, 5-piece. It has a low chance to proc the weapon damage. However, I'll kind of talk about that in a second when I discuss the skills. It does last for 10 seconds, which is really nice, and then it's not really any cooldown other than because as soon as it's over, you have a chance you can start proccing it again immediately. It's not like you have to wait another 5 or 10 seconds, so that's really nice, and it gives you so much weapon damage. It adds a lot to your burst. And you're gonna want them all in pin. I just have this one randomly sturdy, so you can run 1 or 2 sturdy if you'd like, but I would prefer you're gonna want this all in pin because you're not gonna be doing a lot of blocking. Hell, I would almost rather make this well fitted, to be honest, because you'll do more dodge rolling than you will blocking. You're only really gonna block meteors, but in pin's the best. I run the tower. Since we are an Argonian, we have a low max stam pool. Tower helps with that. Helps with sustain and your damage all around. It's kind of mixed between the serpent and the warrior. Use whatever your race needs. If you're not Argonian, if you're like a red guard, you may want to run like a magic recovery stone because you're not going to have that, or maybe max health or something. You're going to have to play around with that to kind of suit your race if you're not Argonian. Argonian is probably, I would say, the best for this setup because you're relying purely on vigor to heal you, and that's about it. And then DK doesn't really have any like recovery passives, so using like a wood elf or a red guard that gives you an extra 10% recovery or 20%, it's not going to stack with any of your passives because your main sustain comes from battle roars. So the potion on Argonia is basically like a mini battle roar, so that's why it stacks really nice in my opinion. Skills. You can move these things on your bar wherever makes you feel comfortable. This is how I like to set it up. You'll see I sometimes play around with Rend. It's good versus tanks and sometimes max orcs if you're fighting them. Keeps a lot of pressure on them for 16 seconds. Also, if it's like, oh shit, you pop it on 3 people when you're outnumbered, and it boosts your healing like crazy. For the next 16 seconds, that with vigor. But for the most part, you're gonna run Dawnbreaker on your dual wield bar. It's better than take flight. It's better than this guy's running around. Say hello to some jolly guy. He called me out for making a build video earlier. This is Dawnbreaker is definitely the best. The dot combined with the initial hit is going to do more damage than take flight. Just costs a little bit more. I do run take flight on my back bar though. Venomous Claw, Vigor, Fragmented Shield. I'm used to saying Igneous, but you want to run Fragmented. Gives you longer time for major mending and rendering. You can switch this out for Noxious. Run it like that. I've tried that. The snare is sometimes needed. Noxious misses a lot, so I prefer rendering. And the initial hit of rendering feels like it hits harder than Noxious. And back bar, run Fossilized, Volatile for nightblades that cloak constantly. You can run the other morph. I just run this one specifically for fuck blades. You know, half of Cyrodiil is nightblades. I'll say 40 to 50% of the population in Cyrodiil are nightblades, whether they be Stam or Magicka. The rest are max orcs, and the random tanks and magpies you get. Not many Stam DKs running around anymore, other than just DKs, like health knights, basically. You know, like a disgrace. I like to use Carve over Noxious. I've used both. You can use Noxious here. It gives you major fracture, which is really nice. It costs less and the radius is bigger. However, they buffed Carve, so I started using it because it's undodgeable now. Like it used to be. It used to be dodged all the time. It gives you minor heroism, so it helps with your stacks with your werewolf hide, your blood spawn, your silence maul. So and the initial damage hits harder, but the dot's weaker, and it costs more. But the animation is way faster than Noxious, and I almost always hit it. You know, as long as you're close enough. Noxious misses all the time. It's really annoying how much it actually misses, and the animation is very slow. I don't know why. It's just like how the whole fire breathing thing is. It's really frustrating. But you can run either one. You definitely just want to make sure you're running this. It helps proc your Ravager. Every time it goes off, if you have multiple people around you, has a chance to proc on all of them. That combined with your heavy attacks from dual wield, which hit twice, has a chance to proc Ravager. So you want to make sure that you're running this, because if not, your Ravager's not gonna proc as much. And then for momentum, Executioner. Reverse Slice isn't as good in my opinion for a DK. You don't have enough damage like you do like a Stam Warden, or as far as burst damage. So you're more single target oriented, so I'll use that. You can run Corrosive here. You can run Onslaught. You can run Werewolf, Shooting Star. You can run whatever you want on your back bar. You can run Shifting. I just like Take Flight, so it's cheaper. So sometimes I just need health or get people off me, an ally, or sometimes I just hit it. Whatever. Just fucking I like to Dragon Leap people. So you can use whatever you'd like. Achievement tree. Stop it wherever you want. You can change this up. 45 Warlord, 60 Mooncalf, 60 Tenacity, 55 Tumbling, 30 Shadow. What is that called? Yeah, Shadow Ward. You're gonna be dodge rolling way more than blocking, like I said. Bless, 27, 51 Master at Arms, 52 Thaumaturge. You're a dot build. You want your dots to hit hard. 60 Precise Strike. You definitely want your crits to hit hard. That's where most of your damage is going to come from, no matter what build you play. And then 16 to Mighty. 44 Ironclad, 40 Resistance, 55 Hardy, 55 Elemental Defender, 31 Thick Skin, 25 Quick Recovery. So you can change that up, play around with it, you know, whatever. Alright, as far as potions you want to run, you need speed. You're going to want to run the Movable Pots, help with your sustain, gives you major expedition for 47 seconds, and makes you immune to knockback for 10 seconds. I usually like to pop these in the beginning of the fight, so that way for the first about 45 seconds I get that extra health. I don't really need the stand pot yet, because we are usually fighting outnumbered. It's what we do. I'm not really a dueler, so if you do run into a dueling situation where you kind of want to be, you know, honorable, I use these for special occasions, basically dueling a friend, or if I'm dueling somebody that you know, I don't want to be too cheese on, not running movable. I do not mean by ganking. If I get ganked, that is not a 1v1 in that moment. That's me trying to survive, and then I'm going to teabag your forehead after I kill you type of situation. So I'm going to end up running, probably end up popping this, and hopefully get back on the offensive. But yeah, if you want to fight somebody, you kind of want to, you know, pot to use, definitely use these. These are the best as far as dueling goes. Gives you health, stam, and then your crit. So since you're not running hunter or anything, you could use that. And then we're running dubious. All right, as far as, I guess, the pros and cons of the build. Cons are defiles suck. It's hard to come back from getting your health low. If they're defiling you, or if they're just staying in you, you have no burst heal. You don't have any really defensive alt at all. So you're purely relying on just kind of outmaneuvering your opponent who's attacking you and being as aggressive as possible. You have to stay 100% aggressive. It's not a normal standard sword and board two-hand DK where you can kind of take that damage or mitigate it or pop a sword and board alt, you know, to end up reflecting shit and kind of save you. Sometimes it can't save you, but it is a good alt. You're 100% offensive. This is no defense. This is just pure offense, basically. You have to stay aggressive no matter who you're fighting. So yeah, nightblades. Nightblades are your biggest threat in Cyrodiil. Defile builds are one as well, but nightblades are all defilers. They all use incap, including magic and nightblades. Incap, I'm not even gonna go into that fucking ability right now, or merciless, but half a Cyrodiil are nightblades. If you're fighting 3 or 4 nightblades, it's really, really tough. Also because they have everything to put you in the ground and everything to survive this dot setup, mainly because of cloak. Almost every nightblade is kind of a cloakling. When they're cloaked, they take no damage from your dots. So unlike every other class that you're keeping pressure on and staying in their face, where they have to almost be defensive, including mag swords, they have to be wary of their shields. They have to be sorry, someone just messaged me and it threw me off. They have to be wary of the shields. Nightblades, when they cloak, they're negating all of your dot damage. They'll come back out full health. It's really, really frustrating. They can heal in their cloak, but yet they don't take any dot damage. So they get a hot, but they don't take any dots. In my opinion, it's kind of bullshit, especially because cloak is really low cost. It's very hard to pull them out of cloak. They get no punishment when you do pull them out. They just hit it again. Unlike streak, you know, it kind of doubles that. If they keep streaking over and over, it just keeps, you know, destroying their magicka. Whereas cloak, it doesn't stack like that. You know, I do kind of think they should have to wait, you know, 3 seconds, where basically by the time it would end, before they can hit it again. If not, then it should be kind of punishable. But whatever, Zenimax is like fucking goes down on some nightblades. I'm not gonna say the rest. My son's in the other room, so. So nightblades are your biggest threat. Defile builds. I ran into builds, of course, running, you know, Viper and Slodes, or along with a defile, and I'm sorry, you're not gonna come back from that. You're not gonna win that. They have to be a shit player. If you beat a player using this build, with no burst heal, no defensive ult, and you didn't actually jump them, they weren't low health, yeah, you should probably teabag them because they fucked up. There should be no reason that they beat you. Nightblades, almost every nightblade should be able to beat you. They have all the tools in their kit, and they're usually almost always running them, unless you get the one very random nightblade who's trying to be different. But they have everything in their kit to beat you, and basically not take hardly any damage from you while putting out a massive amount of burst and defiling you. So you should be happy if you beat them. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. For pros of this build, one, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's different from sword and board, from what normal DKers run. It's a very aggressive build, so I will say this: if you get low health, as soon as you get your vigor up, like pop a vigor, automatically fossilize who's ever in your face, which is usually a nightblade, of course. fossilize them, and start like putting pressure on them immediately. You don't want to sit there and reset the fight. With this build, there's no resetting. It's just you got to be aggressive the whole time. It's just how the build works. You gotta keep your dots up on them. You're gonna constantly keep rotating your dots, rendering to venomous claw, fossilize into carve. And basically, as soon as they break free of their fossilize, and if they're not low health, you're gonna turn back around, make sure you reset your blade cloak, go right back into heavy attacking, and reapply your dots. That's the whole thing. You gotta constantly keep the dots on them. Outnumbered is much trickier. You're gonna rely on LOSing. If I leap at the beginning, or if I down break at the beginning, the first thing you want to do is, of course, find the low health target. Whoever I think that is, just run around a tree, apply your dots, run back around, LOS, find that guy again, keep applying your dots. Because a lot of these noobs, if they're not getting healed, they're not going to heal themselves, and your dots are actually just going to chip at them. These guys are idiots, so they rely on a healer to heal them. So if they're not getting healed, it's the one thing I like about the dots. You come back, you put your dots on one guy, you run around the corner, you want to do it as quickly as possible. Got people on, you come back around, that guy will be 40-30% health, and you haven't even fucking down broken his little forehead yet, so he's about to taste that, and you'll drop him. So yeah, that's the build. I'll link the clip below. It's like 2 clips ago where I used this build the whole time. I used it in the last fit as well. It's kind of like my build I go back to for the most part. I do have a medium armor setup as well that I've been run till the next vid. You'll see that medium armor is almost impossible to run with this. So I still didn't have shuffle, I didn't have rally. The damage was there, but my magic sustain was way lower. Like, it was very hard to sustain my magicka. I actually had to put on dizzying swing, which wasn't bad. I hit harder, so whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope this helps if you're trying to run dual wield 2-hand, like a dot setup. It is this setup that I'm using. I am using a new one now, but this setup is kind of a mix between dots and bursts. So it's more dots than bursts, but it definitely adds enough burst in there to take people out. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. If you have any questions while I'm using certain abilities or certain morphs, let me know down below, and I'll try and help you out. Until next time, guys.
Yeah, let's try his armor like this tight. Yeah, this something.
I gotta look up, see if there's trap in this song. This sounds so good.
Master Chief is a big build.
Yeah, that's Chief's thing. Did you come up with a Master Chief costume?
Did they ever watch the movie?
No, I didn't watch the live action one. I've seen like the.
Oh yeah, you should watch it.
The episodes.
Oh yeah, it's something that's
What's it called?
Forward on the